I'm really surprised to see you here. Okay, what do we got? What do we have?
Coach, you know, the Huntsman is due to be renovated this spring. What are some of the benefits of the program of that prospective renovation?
Well, you know, I think it's, personally to me, it's a heck of a college basketball venue. You know, but over time, you know, things need a facelift. I think once you get in the arena, it's spectacular, but some of the bathrooms, concessions, potentially do a little Hall of Fame, you know, around the perimeter, really dress it up, and then we can obviously update the lighting and sound system inside. You know, it's tremendous facility, but time for a little bit of a facelift, and I think it'll do nothing but enhance the, you know, the game time operations and experience that way. But I think it'll be great for our fans to come in and have a little different vibe to be able to see and hear.
Coach, what do you guys need to do to parlay that nice game that you had over the weekend here into success on the road versus USC?
Well, I mean, it's you know, we've been competitive in some games on the road. We got to figure out how to get a win. Breaking down a bunch of film right now with USC, and I know they present some problems. I think Wesley on the perimeter is playing as well as anybody. You know, any of the wings in our league right now, and Robbie presents some difficulties at 7-2 for us, and he had an impact on the game last time. You know, we've got a lot of things. There's really no little things this time of year. I thought we rebounded well this last week and made that a point of emphasis in practice and improved on that. That's going to be something that has to be consistent with us. And, you know, we just got to make some plays offensively and defensively. There's a lot of elements to the game. Nothing magical and no huge point of emphasis, just having some poise and some maturity and figuring out a way to get it done.
It seems like when Brandon Taylor plays well, your whole team seems to find success. Is he one of the caveats to wins for you guys?
Well, I mean, I think if you looked at some correlations with some guys, we had 5 guys in double figures on Saturday and 4 on Thursday, and I'm not sure that's happened on any weekend for us, you know. And you know, Brandon's played well here as of late. He didn't play well a few weeks ago. He had a stretch where he was down. So I think, as the case is with a lot of the sophomores on our roster, finding some consistency. You know, they're far more consistent as sophomore than they were freshmen. And part of the growth is as they move forward, starting to string some games together back to back. And you know, we expect a number of guys to be able to hopefully carry it through for us. But it's like which came first, the chicken or the egg. When you look at W's and guys that played good, you know, I think there were a lot of positives that we played well, and Brandon's one of the keys to our team. But you know, I wouldn't put it all on his shoulders.
Larry, how huge is this game? Obviously, as far as your NCAA tournament resume for your team is concerned, the big glaring weakness there is no road wins. And this looks like it probably.
Well, the great news about the NCAA tournament is there's no home games. Everybody gets to play on neutral site, so maybe they'll take that into consideration.
Right, but I mean, as far as accepting one thing on your resume though is no road wins, is that you need to get some, obviously.
Yeah, you do. I mean, I'm not going to make any excuses, and I don't think the committee's going to be excited about the fact that we were, you know, woulda, coulda, and almost won those games on the road, even though they were losses. At the end of the day, they were losses. But you know, going through every game we played on the road, we haven't been whipped, you know. And Arizona was the biggest deficit, and that was a game, you know, 5 minutes to go where it was real competitive. So, you know, it's a fine line for us, and I think we've got to start playing our best basketball at this time of the year, regardless, for any committee or for our own benefit, to get ready for Vegas. You know, we've got 7 ball games left before Las Vegas, and our mission statement's not going to really change from any year that we've been here. To let's keep trying to improve and not make the same mistakes that we've made early, and you know, hopefully we get a bunch of guys gelling at the right time. Maybe this last week was an indication that we're ready to have a bunch of guys chipping in, because that's what we're gonna need, you know, with 4 of those games being on the road. But I don't think we can ride the coattails of 1 or 2 guys. We need to have some other guys, and not just our team playing their best ball this time of year, but some individuals. Let's really start turning it on, and that's what we're gonna ask everybody to do.
And can you also talk about, you guys are climbing into a tie for 7th, upward mobility right now, that's the name of the game too, isn't it? I mean, you're climbing up in the standings at the right time of the year. Can you just talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, that's, I think there's 3 teams tied with the same record, and, you know, here we are, kind of the analogy of the 4-point swing. You know, we've got weekend games coming up, and you can't afford not to get one, because it's the bucket you didn't get, you know, if you let a win get away. So it's, you know, it's not so much the overall picture as much as we're looking, trying to identify how we can compete against USC. You know, you get that one, the focus is on that one, finish that one off, and then you move on to the next thing, and hopefully we can get a little something going here at the right time.
Coach, 3 of your starters are from Los Angeles, Brandon, Dakari, and DeLon. I believe that.
Unless we change the starting lineup, right?
Unless you change the starting lineup. I believe that none of them were offered by either USC or UCLA. You know, what's their mindset going to be going into this weekend? And this is their first time home, and you know, is there different layers for them going home, and how do you handle that as a coach?
Well, I hope the focus is pretty simple. You know, it's more about our team than it is any individual story and axe to grind with somebody. You know, there's a lot of people that USC and UCLA haven't offered scholarships to, and you know, I don't expect to have to try to calm them down or get them excited. It's, you know, it's about Utah basketball, and we're going back to a place that they'll be comfortable in. You know, get the chance to play in front of family and friends, hopefully. But really beyond that, I don't want to make it any bigger, you know, than it has to be. And, you know, maybe a better question for those kids. I'm sure they've all got a different mindset going in, but hopefully it's more of a collective. If we need to get a win than it is anything that they've got, you know, on their plate. But it'll be fun for them to get home, you know, and that's, as you're recruiting kids from Southern California or the Bay Area or wherever, a lot of those kids maybe didn't have an opportunity to play locally, but they're still in what I consider the best league in the West, and they have a chance to come home, you know, a few times throughout a college career, and this is one of those highlights for them.
You know, and even, and Dirk asked you this, but I'm just going to expand on this a little bit. I mean, even though you guys have a lot of work to do, conceivably the NCAA tournament is still in play for you guys. Have you mentioned that, or is that something that, you know, you kind of don't want to mention, and does that make Thursday's game against USC that much bigger a game for you?
Well, I mean, we talked about that at the end of our preseason. We had a meeting at my home, and had kind of a wrap up to the preseason and kickoff for the regular season. And, you know, mentioned the reality is that there may be 5 or 6 teams in the Pac-12 that make the tournament. It's hard to say how it goes down. And one of the ways that we can assure that we're going to make the tournament is by winning the tournament in Las Vegas. And, you know, I don't think we need to talk about it too much. Again, I think we've got a pretty focused group, and we're talking about USC and winning the game, and really trying to focus on things that we can control. And that's our performance and our focus leading into it, our preparation. And, I mean, I can't tell the kids, hey, if you win this game against the Trojans, we're going to be an NCAA tournament team. So that's, you know, it's a little bit of rubbish to create that, but what can we control is trying to get a W and hoping that things line up in our favor when the time is right. But still, at the end of the day, if we won 7 out of our last 8 games or whatever it is, we still will be sitting there on Selection Sunday, and there'd be a lot of things that we couldn't control. You know, what we can get a hold of is the next game and being ready to go in that game.
One of the ways to get a hold of this next game will be good interior play like you had against Washington State. Will you talk about the play of your bigs recently?
Well, I mean, we came back